Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TCR, the Platinum class. My name is JB, and I'll be taking you through tonight's proceedings, but, and this is a big but, I'm not on my own tonight, for once someone decides to join me. No, it's not Dr. Dre, we haven't got our Doctor of Funk here tonight. Tonight we have a very shiny golden commentator that I managed to kidnap from last night's race. There's a lot of chloroform involved, so you might be a little bit drowsy. Blinn, hello.
Wow, I like that one. Yeah, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm really excited to be back again in the commentator booth 2 nights in a row.
You just slept in the booth last night. Hello, B. How are you doing? Sorry, B came in the chat. We always see hello to B. You just slept in the booth, didn't you?
I guess so, yeah.
Social distance boothing. Obviously, we're in the big booth. He's over in the golden one. I'm over in the platinum one. I have a coffee machine in mine.
That's nice. Wow, yeah. No, I just have a little tiny fan on top of the desk to keep me cool because I don't have an AC in the house, and it gets pretty toasty in the summer, even though we're pretty up north in Canada here.
Well, speaking of which, where are we? We are at the Canadian Grand Prix, so your surrogate home race, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm really excited, and usually it delivers a lot of good action. Yesterday in gold, everybody managed to keep it very tidy and very clean throughout the race. We did have a couple of incidents, but I do want to see how the platinum class people go at it, considering that their championship standings are much closer than the gold class is.
Well, before we go through that, congratulations on your 7th place, B. You're doing a whole lot better than me. We should mention the Fanatec affiliation that TCR has. Are you aware of this?
Absolutely, yeah. They make some great products, and you can help out the league by purchasing some of their products. So I think the links and all the info is in the description. It
is, and tell them TCR sent you, and they may actually send it before quarantine ends. It's a new
that
one
would
of
be
my
really
bad
nice,
jokes.
yeah.
It's a terrible joke, that one is, yeah. Nonetheless, though, go through your... shall we have Blinn go through the championship standings for us? I guess we shall.
All right, so yeah, this Platinum class so far looks like it's been a very, very tight season. We've got Joe Breezy currently leading the standings with 232 points, but Seafreeze 22 is very, very close to him, pretty much chasing him down in the last couple of races as well. He's currently at 221 points, so only 11-point difference there. And then we've got Dougie Falcons in 3rd place right now as well with 197 points, chasing the first 2 runners right now. He does still have a chance with 75 points still up for grabs in this season. And then we've got Go-To Guy in 4th, Zandamar in 5th, Talon 91 Guy in 6th, Damaso in 7th, ILTR Kersey in 8th, iRoll in 9th, Fatal in 10th, Kyochin in 11th, but he did join the season a little bit later as sort of a reserve driver. And then Sequid in 12th, 007 Professional in 13th. We've got Dothdo Hoist in 14th, HVAC Toaster in 15th, Biss Racing in 16th, Kev Berge in 17th, Mick Marcodi in 18th, and Be Good Fever in 19th is the last person with points on the board. Giant Johnson Alex doesn't seem like he's been starting any of the recent races, and he has 0 points, running in 20th place right now.
Well, 15 drivers take to the track tonight, and a few of them on qualifying, but currently it is an Alpha Tauri P1 and P2, so a couple of lockout, but still time to go in qualifying. What do you foresee for the Red Bull sponsored team? Do you reckon they'll lock out the front wearers they so often have, or will we see someone sneak up the top?
Well, I mean, it's we've still got 5 minutes to go in this one, but I'm very impressed with the qualifying times so far already. Everybody is pretty much in the 108s, all the way down to Sequid in 12th right now, but everybody's going on the soft tires, so I'm not really sure how they're going to play their strategy throughout the race. I guess they're all sort of counting on incidents and maybe a safety car coming out once or twice.
I like safety cars. This track sort of breeds safety cars. Normally, with the response of a dear Canadian Lance Stroll, shall we not mention the fact that his daddy is about to buy Mercedes? Did you hear about that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently he's poised to buy a large stake in Mercedes Grand Prix. Daimler, who also own Mercedes, are looking to sell. And that means that we'll have Aston Martin and Aston Martin 2 on the grid. Fantastic.
We are literally in his hometown as well, so they do have a grandstand for him, but I'm not sure how many fans he's got in there. Let's put it that way.
I wonder how many fans from TCR are in there.
I'm hoping to be at least one next year.
Well, I mean, I don't often get to go to Grand Prix. I've been to Silverstone a few times, but normally I spend more time marshalling at Silverstone, which is more fun. I do. Silverstone is my favourite track, but one of my favourite tracks outside of the Silverstone area is this track, actually. I really enjoy racing this track, and I don't know, Blinn, do you enjoy it?
Absolutely. I think it also really fits my driving style. It's got some good sweeping, quick corners and chicanes. I do like chicanes, actually. And also, I've mentioned this last night as well, this track is very forgiving on the curbs, so you can cut them quite a bit, but as we're seeing right now, the guy in the third dot is just running that curb a little bit too wide, and he does get an invalidation on this lap, but they're overall very forgiving, so you don't usually lose the car traction or handling when you go over some of the curbs here, so a lot of people will be cutting those, and overall you just get really good racing around here. I think the overall sort of shape of the track really breeds a lot of places for overtaking and a lot of sort of side-by-side running, so I'm hoping for a lot of that tonight.
Have you ever noticed that it's a bit like an oval, just with a bit more squiggly bits in it?
Absolutely, and I mean, it's built as sort of like half a street circuit because it does run through a park that's in there, like it's sort of on an island, or not an island, but it's sort of like separated away from the main other half of the track. So yeah, it's an interesting track in terms of the shape of it, and also the track surface is very, very easy. Like you can run a soft tire here in race trim probably for about, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 laps.
Well, I'm glad you know that, because I don't know strategy around here. So the last 2 minutes of qualifying have begun. This is the point where really the drivers want to be the quickest, want to do the best they can. What would you be looking for at this moment, Blinn?
Well, just trying to get in a really clean run. I think getting good exits out of the chicanes around this track, it's really crucial. And then getting good acceleration, shifting through the gears, and also downshifting on the braking here is definitely a big factor. But last night we saw most of the grid having penalties as well. So, those apexes are very inviting to cut. And sometimes you cut a little bit too much and you can get a penalty, but also right now in the last couple of minutes you're going to want to have some clean air in front of you and not get into traffic with other people, as actually Kersey right now is starting out a run and he's got somebody right up his tail.
Yeah, it's his teammate, so that's going to be forgiven. That was all planned between the Toro Rosso team, and yes, B, I completely agree, this track is still better than Abu Dhabi. I don't like Abu Dhabi, and I won't lie, I think it's a terrible track. It's not even a thing to
Mexico.
Watch. I don't like to drive Mexico. I quite like to watch it, but I don't like to drive it.
Well, this is my first season commentating, so I haven't had too much of an opinion watching races as of yet. I do have some of my favorites so far from this season in Gold Class. Definitely the likes of Baku and Austria and Monaco were very, very exciting. But also doing the TCR exclusive Grand Prix, that was really, really nice as well.
Yeah, you covered for me for that one. I was going to do it, but then I had work.
Yeah, I think we would have enjoyed doing that one together, so maybe next year, next season, let's hope for that.
Oh, let's hope so. I like Baku B. Don't be mean to the Azerbaijanians. It is a track filled with dictators, but so here comes a professional in the hometown car, the Racing Point, about to cross the line, or is it Aston Martin? Final car across the line, it's going to be P13, a difficult qualifying for the man who spent a lot of time on iRacing this week. I've actually been engineering him in iRacing. I engineered him to a third place in the Formula 3 cars at Silverstone, because I know that track too damn well.
Damn, I need to get myself a gaming PC so I can run iRacing.
Same. Oh, I want to play. I just want to go and do the Indianapolis races. Here's Sequit in the Red Bull. Little lock-up into the hairpin. That could cost him time, but he's got his teammate just ahead. But not enough for a nice tow from the other Red Bull. As a sister car comes paralleling through, where does Dougie Falcons go? That's a terrible line for Secret, really struggling on this setup through the chicane. Dougie Falcons only pops it up to P10, really struggling himself. Secret only P12. Red Bull having a bad day today.
Yeah, so it looks like Seafreeze is going to be on pole with Joe Breezy breezing down his neck. And Kersey doing a very impressive job in qualifying. He's currently on the second row of the grid.
Don't worry, guys, those were all AI cars. But yes, Joe Breezy is second place to Seafreeze is first. The AI car is currently getting very excited all to doing a nice F1 car version of the Human Centipede. Yeah, that was a bad one. So, as you mentioned, tyre strategy here is a bit of a strong one. Soft tyres seem to be the best option, though.
I think so, and you know, if I had to rerun my race from Tuesday, I'd probably complete my last lap on those soft tires. I decided to abandon it at the very, very last moment, deciding that mediums would be better to start on. But no, definitely, I think you can stretch these softs for quite a long time, and then you can take mediums until the end.
Kyochen leaving the session, unfortunately. So that's P14 out of the way. So here's the grid by 1/10 of a second, though. C3 is on pole position ahead of his championship rival Joe Breezy in P2. Kersey in P3 ahead. Talon, who's in P4. Dolph Van Hoist is in P5. Xander Mar, the leading Canadian, is in P6 ahead of Mick, who's in P7. Go-To Guy is in P8 and Fatal is in P9. P10 goes to Dougie Falcons. He's got to do some work today if he wants a championship. iRoll is in P11, Secret is in P12, Professional is in P13, Kyochen and D'Amato are in P14 and P15. Everyone outside of the top 10 will obviously be starting on fresh tyres. But what tyres would you go for, Blin?
I would go for the softs and try to stretch them as long as possible and hope maybe there's a safety car that comes out, because I mean that gives you a little bit more openings towards the rest of the race, since you're going to have to run at least 2 different compounds. So I think softs are the best option to start on, but I'm sure we're going to see at least a couple of people who will probably roll the dice on those mediums.
Tell you what, I was having a discussion earlier with a friend of mine who does league racing, and he said that he got in an argument with someone because they were talking about pay in leagues where you pay a set amount, only something like under $10 or something. You pay a set amount into the league, and then the league is able to produce more, quote, more racing by you paying and securing your seat in the league. I heavily disagree with that. What do you think, Glenn?
I do have some mixed feelings about it, I guess. I mean, first of all, everybody wants to make a little bit of money and improve things in leagues and make the leagues a little bit more, organized and official. But honestly, I really like the things that TCR has been doing recently to try and improve and try to build a competitive grid. And I think my problem with that is then we're taking it a little bit too seriously, and some people that already take it very, very seriously might take it even more seriously. And that's just going to create a lot more arguing between the drivers after the races and, just potential incidents. I think the final goal of, league racing and the whole sim racing community is really not to make money out of this. It's just to have people that have a common understanding and common agreement on what racing should be like, and that it should be clean, and it should be about, your overall pace, overtaking abilities, strategy building abilities, and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's just about meeting other people that, enjoy the same sort of things, and they can help you get faster, get quicker, buy the right equipment. That's really the end goal here. It's not, I think, to make money.
It's about having fun, and that's what this is. This is a hobby to have fun. One of my hobbies, as I alluded to in qualifying, is marshalling, motorsport marshalling. There's an element of seriousness within that, obviously to be because it's danger. I could be killed next week going out on track, but you still want to have fun, and that's the fact is you're gonna have fun. Take it a little bit seriously, but don't take it seriously to the point that you're tearing your hair out about it.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
So, here's another question. Kersey in P3. His main job now is to get ahead of Joe Breezy, isn't it? And to beat him to turn 1, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's really going to be a game of, do you want to attack really, really early and build yourself a gap because you do that, or you know, you play it by ear and sort of see what happens on track on the first couple of laps, and maybe play it smart, save your ERS, your fuel, and then really attack on, you know, fresher tires towards the end of the race.
I will show you that, B. You know what, B? I'll text you after the race and I'll show you that picture. So, as we get ready for 35 laps of racing here in Montreal, what can the semi-street circuit give us for the final stage of the TCR series? The lights are out now. It's a great start from P2 for Joe Breezy. He's rocketing it down. He's going for the lead already as he tries to swing past his championship rival. He's got it. He's going wide. C3 squeezes him towards the curb, but this time Joe Breezy's got to get the power out as they run into turn 3.
Wow, that was very tight between Dougie and Iroll at the back as well, making a little bit of contact with Fatal, and now they're still battling through turns 3 and 4. Very, very tight between everybody on the starting lap.
What can Joe Breezy do as he tries to attack? He knows that these are the championship races he needs to get involved in. He has to push on as hard as he can.
And I'm just trying to see towards the back to see if there's going to be any sort of incidents or touching. So far, Fatal, Dougie Falcons, and Sequid are coming very, very close to each other. I've seen Fatal tap the back of Sequid a couple of times already, so we might expect to see a little bit of incidents later on or in the next couple of laps here.
Zandamar and Duff Van Hoist going side by side on the run into the chicane. Zandamar at his home Grand Prix wants to do well as he powers up his final home Grand Prix before retiring from TCR. The other Haas car trying to feel optimistic, and he is through. Duff Van Hoist forced off the track.
Yeah, he went very, very wide there, having to cut the corner to avoid any further incidents and not locking up and not ruining his tires, so very smart.
So Doff dropping even further back now behind the two Red Bulls, behind the Williams of Fatal. Hopefully Kjolchin can rejoin us as we keep an eye on the battle at the top. The championship battle of C3 skims the wall. It seems that car's very, very loose on the rear end.
A lot of people also cutting the entry point or the exit point of turn 3 and 4, taking the Vettel line through there. So already people are trying to sort of experiment with the track limits here. Oh, and 007 Professional getting a huge tail whip on the exit of turn 7. So already people are starting to push their tires a little bit harder than they're supposed to.
Some support in the chat for McLaren, as McLaren do get very close to the AlphaTauri car in front. What can Joe Breezy do as he heads towards the third lap, which means DRS coming into play? That's going to be huge around here, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially on the back straight there coming to the end of the lap. It's a huge, huge opportunity to overtake, as now 007 is going to go on the outside of Iroll. Let's see if he's going to make that one stick. They're side by side. No, Iroll makes that defense there. Oh, and we've got somebody in the wall. It's Fatal. He touched the wall of champions and then spun out into the outside wall.
Oh dear, Fatal. He doesn't seem too much damage on the Williams. No safety car required for that though, as everyone starts to get ready to power through towards lap 3. Now the three DRS zones are coming into play, and this is going to be fun. We should see the McLaren get through. Dougie Falcons already with a time penalty. That's going to really suck. But Captain Quebec himself does take away that penalty and has that one himself back in. Where is Iroll today? He's in P11.
Yeah, and there seems to be about 3 different trains of cars going on track right now. We've got the first front runners, the 4 of them running together very, very close. And then a little bit further back, a few seconds back, we've got another little train of 3 cars. And then further back on them, there's a huge train of about 6 or 7 cars all the way down from Dougie all the way down to Damaso.
Potentially a mistake there for C3's heading into the final hairpin. And now round the outside comes Joe Breezy. What can he do as he swings round the outside? He takes the lead of the race. And he's looking to extend that gap with double DRS as he flies away from the man from New York.
Already very exciting moves here and good battling on track. So far pretty clean except for Fatal having a little bit of a spin coming out at the end of the lap. But yeah, overall we've seen some good battling already, so I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. People are sticking very, very close to each other on the first few laps, and now DRS is going to shake things up, hopefully.
Shout if you see anything as we head into the 4th lap and the second DRS straight. Or is it the first? I kind of cast it as the first in a way, you know? Because it's the first one we get to on a racing lap.
Yeah, so the first one is at the exit of turn 7, and then the
Yes.
second one is on the casino straight, uh, 11.
Heading into the hairpin now, heading up onto the DRS straight. Joe Breezy is going to have some stern defence as the British team driver with the American driver in front is trying to defend from Seafreeze. Seafreeze trying to the inside line, and Joe Breezy having no response. Oh, but Seafreeze having a break and cut his way through. Zandamar letting his teammate through as Go-To Guy powers past him. Oh, Zandamar's in trouble! Zandamar catching that, almost putting it into the wall, and Mick allowing Mick to get through. What a brilliant save for Zandamar.
Very impressive catch there, absolutely. He was almost in the wall, and yeah, he managed to catch it just in time.
Now, at what point do you think Seafreeze is going to think, okay, maybe I should let my teammate through, maybe he should have an attack on Joe Breezy, or do you think, oh, you've got to race me if you want to overtake me?
Judging by what we've seen, I think there might be some team orders going on in there for sure, so we will have to wait and see. I mean, they're still on the same tires at this point, so I don't know if this is the right time to let him through particularly, but maybe after the first stop, depending on how they do before the stop, whoever is in front, they might be able to play a little bit of team orders there.
Red Bull, famous for not doing team orders, especially as Secret and Dougie Falcons have reminded us that they don't do team orders here at TCR. They've got a class close together. I wonder if Christian Horner will be having his hair about. I think Dolph Van Hoist is getting closer to the back of Dougie. As we see someone in pit lane, it is Joe Breezy, race leader pits.
That's very, very early.
Oh, big crash, Dougie Falcons!
Yeah,
oh,
Dougie
no.
makes contact with the back of Doth, and Doth is in the wall on the exit of turn 12, so...
No safety car.
I'm not sure if we're going to get a safety car, but we do have a yellow flag in Sector 3.
I don't think so, with the fact Kersey now takes the lead of the race. I don't think we'll see a safety car, but that was, you know what that exactly was, as the problem with this pit lane. Doth went to brake for the pit lane, went to brake, sorry, for the chicane, and Dougie was going to pit lane, and he didn't expect him to be going straight on.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct on that one. That's exactly what it looked like, because you brake a little bit later if you're going into the pits at the end of the lap here, but then because of the nature of the chicane at the end of the lap, those who are running in front of you gonna have to get out of your way.
What a costly mistake for the Red Bull team. Seafreeze weaving there a little bit, I think to tell Talon that he's going into pit lane, or he's just doing some nasty tactics, who knows. Talon there coming towards the inside, but Seafreeze does pit this time round. So that is dramatically changed the race. Now, if I could ask you to do me a favour, just look at Joe Breezy, whether he jumps Seafreeze right now in the pit lane as I go on board with iRoll just for a moment.
Alright, so he is passing the pit lane right now, and he does jump Seafreeze, absolutely. So he's going to have probably at least 2 or 3 second gap on him as well.
Kersey leads from Talon in P2, and Go-To Guy in P3. Sequence in P4, now the leading Red Bull as the battles in the pit lane rage. Let's look at Mick. He's come out just behind Professional. Professional spending a lot of time iRacing, so we know that there could be a bit of a blunder in his driving style, but I very much doubt it. Professional, a very capable driver in the Racing Point car.
And everybody who's pitted so far has decided to go on the medium tires. I'm not sure if that will mean they will have to pit again, but if they want to stretch their tires for 28 laps, is it that we still have to go? That's going to be quite a stretch.
We do have a fair few laps to go. Looking at Mick, though, he's very close to the back of Professional. And this is something... Well, Mick's had some great racing before. He's had some mistakes where he's been... not taken out of races, but fairly removed from races. Maybe today's his time to shine. But leading the race now is Secret in P1, ahead of Damaso in P2, and iRoll in P3. So Captain Quebec at his home race is hoping for something to help him out as Joe Breezy goes fastest in P4. Professional moving a little bit as he tries to defend from Mick. This is a moment in the race where drivers are a little bit out of sync, so we can't really tell what's going on, isn't it, Blen?
Yeah, I think right now they've got, different gaps between everybody. It looks like Most of the drivers decide to pit on different laps from each other, but they are following each other's strategies for most of them, except for now Secret, Damaso, and iRoll. They're definitely pushing that their tires a little bit further into the race, having started on the medium tire. I think this might work out for them later on, but we're going to have the likes of Kersey and Talon and Seafreeze trying to make their way back through the grid, and we know they're very racy and they have some good pace, so I'm just excited to see how that's all going to turn out.
So keeping our eyes still on Mick and Professional, the battle for P10 for the wooden spoon, in fact, of P10, and we'll see whether Mick can get up into there. He's got some stern pace in that Renault today. So the French car battling the Canadian car, which is built in England. Actually, all the cars were built in England, apart from if your name's Ferrari. But this time he goes to the inside line. What can Mick do as he tries to make the overtake? What a brilliant move from Mick on the outside. Heading into chicane, but Professional coming back at him with the better line. But Mick will have the DRS assistance to help him. And that very much helped him into turn 1. Big lock up though for Mick.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of this one. 007 Professional is going to have to come back at him, and I think he will. Mick does have the pace right now, but does he have the consistency to keep him behind? That's going to be the question.
Secret under pressure now from Damaso. Damaso finishing on the podium a few races back. He is absolutely rapid in that McLaren. Struggled in qualifying this time. We'll see what the number 15 car can do. He comes up behind the... trying to remember Secret's number. They'll come to me in a bit.
And Joe Breezy now is catching up to iRoll. He's in 4th place, making his way through the field after his pit stop very, very quickly already. Closing in on iRoll, but doesn't have enough to go for a move down at the last lap. But now they're coming up to the starting of the lap. Oh, and it just looks like iRoll pretty much just moved over and let him through.
Damaso and Secret banging wheels and side pods as now the other McLaren is coming up to play. This is where Andreas Seidel has to be very careful about what he instructs his team to do, or Andreas Seidel, as I called him, Jones. Yeah, Jones engineers for the McLaren team. So, we'll see what he can do. And there's the order. Get out the way.
Yeah, and that's going to move Joe Breezy back into 2nd position. At this point, you know, since Damaso is not fighting for the championship, it's just a little bit more of a friendly gesture for Joe Breezy. Like, go for it, man. Go fight for it. Let's do this. Yeah,
I think Damaso had a chance to overtake, and maybe he's also thinking, look, I'm on all the tyres. There's no guarantee I can keep up this pace, but if Joe manages to slow down... slow down Secret, I can try.
He's going for a move already.
Something's happening though at McLaren, and they almost make contact. Both McLaren cars trying to overtake, and both McLaren cars struggling though. iRoll up into P3. Damaso is going to try and underneath it. McLaren, he aggressively goes to the inside line, as Joe Breezy does as well. Joe Breezy trying to, you can see both overtakes right now. This is brilliant. Joe Breezy trying his hardest to get past Secret. Secret doing his best job to annoy the McLaren team.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. All of that battling up front has created another huge train of cars on this track on lap 11. We've got everybody all the way down to Kersey in 6th position, running within DRS of each other. So this is just more and more exciting by the second, as now Talon gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So penalties are already kicking in now.
I tell you who would be proud of this. Jarno Trulli would be incredibly proud of this train. Here comes Seafreeze on the inside of Damaso, turns to the outside line as they come into the hairpin. Damaso's going to do his best job to get in the way of the AlphaTauri car, but it isn't going to work because fresher tyres, more power. The Honda Power car is through. Now Seafreeze, can he make it 2 cars in 2 corners? What can he do as he lines up a move? Joe Breezy is actually in front of Secret, missed that. As Secret trying his best to overtake the McLaren. Isn't going to happen this time round, and Seafreeze also cannot overtake iRoll. Damaso pits.
Yeah, so Damaso goes into the pits, and that promotes Talon, Kersey, and iRoll all up a position now. So this train is still on, and we've got everybody all the way down to pretty much almost Talon in 6th position as well, all still within DRS. We still got many, many laps to go, so I think one thing the drivers have to really consider here today is when to push and how much to push at different stages of the race. You don't want to burn out your tires too quickly and then be really slow. And also think about what sort of strategy you're going to run here and how you're going to finish this race, because I think they pitted very, very early for those mediums, and I'm not sure if they're going to make it to the end.
Mistake for Sequit. He is just been dropped. He is dropped. He has been passed by C3. Sorry, I completely forgot how to say names, sir. But Sequit is now into P3. He locked up. I believe we'll see him pit this lap. I roll. I believe we'll see heading into pit lane as well. This time he's really struggling. As here comes Talon trying to overtake the Quebecian. I wonder if we'll see anyone trip over each other. Oh, sorry for the lag there. It doesn't seem like we will see anybody tripping over each other into the chicane as we saw earlier on in this race.
Yeah, so Kersey is now up to 4th position as well, overtaking Talon. So, yeah, everybody's trying to make moves as early as possible.
I tell you what, I think the fact that Joe Breezy managed to ignore that blue flag, as Joe Breezy managed to keep a car between him and C3 through that big train, was really helped out Joe. So he needs to, well, he's already doing amazingly right now, but he needs to do a little bit better and to save his tyres. Remember, he's got 1 lap older tyres. What do you think, Glenn?
Well, I mean, he's pulling out a pretty good gap right now. He's started off this lap with a 1.5 second gap. He's already up to 2 seconds now, so he's definitely got some good pace. And this track, it's pretty good if you run an open air here. You don't really need the DRS, but the DRS definitely helps. Oh, no, as now CRG and Sequid making a little bit of contact as they're trying to overtake each other into the hairpin, but Kersey comes out on top and he's up into the podium positions.
There's a lot of movement there for the Toro Rosso. I would not call that fair. As you see Kersey getting in the way of Secret. Hey, he was moving a lot there, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Yeah, that's silly. That's very silly.
It's never going to be a clean overtake, really, around this track, so, you know...
I think the weaving though there, he was definitely trying to break the toe. If you look on the start finish straight, I won't lie there. That was over excessive weaving in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's something they can submit to the stewards after the race. But oh, we've got more action now as Talon guy's trying to overtake Sequid, and he does that very, very quickly.
I'm starting to know Secret rather well. I think he'd rather throw his helmet at him than take it to the stewards. Old NASCAR style there.
Punching and swinging.
Yeah, oh yes. There's a few drivers. We were actually warned when we were on track. Yes, there are some drivers when we're marshalling. There are some drivers that might swing if they go off. Max Verstappen was one of them that's been known to be a swinger.
Yeah, for a little bit, but I mean, he's definitely grown up and matured quite a bit. And I think
if the marshal though goes to touch him, as we have to, he doesn't give it. He doesn't care. And there you go. Secret showing Secret almost making a statement there for Zandamar to make sure that he doesn't make the same mistake as a teammate, but also didn't have a problem earlier on like we had with the other one. 007 under pressure as Fatal goes around the outside. Fatal, our first stopper due to damage earlier on in the race, and they almost make contact, but Professional and Fatal, seasoned enough drivers to know that they won't hit each other.
Yeah, so Sequid went into the pits right now, and he's gone on the hard tire, and this is the problem with starting on the mediums. You really don't have too many options to go on. You either have to do a soft stop in between 2 medium stints, or you go for the hard and just save yourself a stop later on in the race. So that's what Sequid has decided to go for. Oh, it's now go-to guy running another corner very, very wide. He just got a 3-second penalty just a couple of corners ago.
That was the smoothest I've ever done now. I actually clicked on him as soon as you mentioned about him cutting the corner. But he's got some pace as go-to guy comes to power up his fellow Canadian. I think Iroll's heading into pit lane this time. He's really struggling on those tyres, isn't he?
Yeah, I think 14 laps is a decent amount to do on them. I think if...
no.
Oh, no, he's continuing on, but... I think you could probably manage those tires for a few more laps if you really want to change up your strategy, and then you possibly open up yourself to opportunities with maybe incidents later on in the race, or if you pull them enough for long enough, you can go on the soft tire.
So, 16 laps into this race, let's take a look at who's where. Joe Breezy is in P1 ahead of C3 is in P2. Kersey is in P3 ahead of Talon, who's in P4. Zandamar in P5, still leading the Canadian Charger as he is in qualifying. Guy is in P6 ahead of iRoll, who's in P7. Mick is in P8 and Tommaso is in P9, and Fatal is in the final points paying position of P10. Well, this is quite entertaining, and we're heading towards half distance soon, aren't we?
Yeah, and everybody's pulling out some pretty decent gaps on each other. I don't even see anyone within DRS right now, so I think this, happened last night as well with Golden Class. Everybody's got their own pace around this track, and they managed to find their own sort of air, but it's all going to close in towards the end of the race, as those who are currently running on those medium tires, I really don't think they'll be able to pull them all the way to the end. Oh, and there we go. Their iRoll is going into the pits now.
Let's follow the Ferrari team as they head into pit lane. Secret is getting close to professional though, but we will see the difference in power. iRoll's on the soft, so he's going for a two-stop strategy as Captain Quebec's 94 car gets dropped to the floor and he's on the road again. That's interesting. As you mentioned, that's the strategy that potentially is slightly quicker than everyone else, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a couple of different options from here. You can, judge by how the tires are doing on the next few laps to see if he can possibly do a two soft stops, so we go on another soft tire after. Or if not, he can go on a medium if they run out a little bit too fast.
Dougie Falcons with a time penalty. He's really pushing this time round. I don't think he likes Canada very much. As we look at Secret, he's trying to get close and into the points once more. After that run-in with Kersey. We'll start calling it the run-in, shall we?
Well, I guess it was a minor incident. Racing incident.
I don't think that's racing. I think the bumping into the hairpin was racing. I think the weaving on the straight, on both straights, was a little bit excessive. I mean, we're not driving touring cars. Weaving is illegal.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Watching the Secret, he's closing in on professional as we try and see what he can do. DRS opening, and remember, Secret's the only driver on the hard compounded tyres, so how do these tyres actually feel on the cars?
It really just depends on the track, I find, especially on F1 2019. The handling models on every track, they're not very consistent, and I think you have to play around with your setups a little bit, depending also on what tires you're on. I learned that the hard way in Japan. I switched from a very low aero downforce setup on a soft tire, and then forgot to switch up my front wing when I switched over to the hard tire, and it felt completely like ice. I was just sliding everywhere, and it completely got me. But on other tracks like Germany, I've noticed you can really pull out the hard tire, and with every lap, it actually gets faster and faster. You find a really good rhythm with it, and if you're able to do that, you can actually put in some pretty decent times on it.
So, while we're listening to Blin discuss tyre chat with Blin, Secret has passed Professional, but Professional coming back at him on the straight. Professional actually having to feather the throttle a lot more on the straight as he closed up on the Red Bull. Different tyre compounds have that effect.
Yeah, and 007 Professional is actually...
Oh, that was close.
He's actually on a really, really old set of medium tires, but he did pit a couple of laps later than everybody else, so he's at a slight advantage, but I think those tires are going to start burning out very soon right now as well.
I just finished my coffee. That was nice. I always have a coffee when I do comps. People are like, oh, I always have water. Then I have coffee. There was a story as we watched iRoll almost feeding himself into the wall as he tries to pass Professional. His former team, iRoll, was last in the racing point before switching to Ferrari as Joe Breezy pits, and so does C3s.
Alright, and I'm interested to see if they're going to go for softs or what they're going to do here right now.
I think it'll be another set of mediums, wouldn't it? Professional making a mistake as iRoll comes through. Yeah, it's mediums.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looks like Joe Breezy and C3s go for the same strategy, switching over to another set of medium tires.
And that will be their final stop of the day. They will make it to the end of the race on those tyres. barring any safety cars or any damage, this is going to be very interesting as we head towards the 20th lap of the race. I'll quickly finish what I was saying. There was a story years ago that Nigel Mansell used to drive with tea in the car in his flask, so it would be cold proper tea. And then as he raced around the track, obviously the car would heat up. It would heat the flask up. Then he would have hot tea to drink.
Well, that's very clever. I mean, and very British.
Oh, yes, most certainly. As we look at Joe Breezy on the back of Mick now, very different strategies. Renault against Renault power, though. McLaren, remember, famously swap into Mercedes power next season in Formula 1. Yay! As now we see Joe Breezy to the inside line. The 24 car just dipping it past. And Mick is now relegated to P6. But again, there's a car between C-Freeze and Joe, which is exactly what Joe likes, having someone else in the way.
Yeah, he's been able to do that throughout the race today a couple of times already, so very clever from him. But now Seafreeze gets a clean run on Mick. He just moved over for him and decided there's no point in fighting for this one. I'm going to catch the DRS on these guys and try to pull myself forwards. And Seafreeze has also just set the fastest third sector of this track, so he's definitely on a push.
Oh, so close between three cars into the chicane. I roll, almost backing up Sequit into Professional. Professional's getting frustrated for being in P11. He said to me he aimed for a P7 this race, and that could still happen. As we head, we have two retirements in this race. Kjelchen, who didn't make it to the grid, and Doff van Hoyst, who unfortunately speared into the wall after a mistake, a miscommunication at the chicane. This has been an enthralling race, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's turning out to be very exciting. We're getting people bunched up back together again now that they're deciding to make their pit stops.
Whoa!
And
big lock up
to
for
make their way
Damaso.
back through.
Damaso just looking up into the chicane, not the chicane, the hairpin, as I forget where I am on the track. What was in that coffee? Something TCR was there. Mick pits and Damaso. I think he brakes a little bit early because, oh dear, Mick with a 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. That's always a doozy, and this pit lane's pretty difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not one of the easiest ones. Spotting your braking point into it is very tricky. And also, because you're coming into it from the outside of the track and then you got to get the inside for the next corner, if you've got somebody running beside you and in front of you, sometimes they can create a big hazard. So,
battle at the top though. Go-to guy has now got the championship in his hands. He can get involved in this, and does he think, oh, who should I let through? The Canadian with Joe Breezy behind, C-Freeze right behind, Dougie Falcon's the fastest man on track in P13. Go-to guy being overtaken into the hairpin by Joe Breezy. Quality move there for the double champion. And C-Freeze, I believe triple champion, as he tries to come up to overtake go-to guy.
This one is going to probably go on until the very end. I think C-Freeze does have the pace here today to really put the pressure on Joe Breezy. And it would be very interesting for the championship standings if C-Freeze ends up putting enough pressure on Joe Breezy and maybe Joe Breezy makes a mistake and gets a 3-second time penalty. And that way, you know, it will drop him a little bit back. So that will open up the door for some of his other contenders in this season to try and catch up for the last couple of races.
Yeah, championship fights are always fun when they go down to the final stage of the race. And I tell you what, the battle is not done here in Canada, or Canadian land, whatever you want to call it. The Great White Winter in the north of America are in England, so the Great White Winter of the north in England is Scotland. They should have a Grand Prix. I think they have several tracks up there. Knockhill. There you go. Little fact about England. Yeah. Knockhill's a great circuit, actually.
Hey, the more the merrier. I'm all for it.
Yeah, remember 20, it's about 5 rounds of Formula 1 this season, isn't it? As we look at C-Freeze putting pressure on Joe Breezy. That pressure, though, he's gaining with DRS, but I don't think he'd gain if there wasn't any DRS.
Well, I mean, he doesn't really have to push at this point in the race. He just needs to put enough pressure on Joe Breezy to either cause him to make a mistake. But, it looks like he's going for it.
Joe Breezy having to leave him room just a little bit. Great respect between these two races, 22 versus 24.
Yeah, didn't quite work on that one, but as I said, C-Freeze doesn't really have to push right now. He can use Joe with his DRS and the slipstream to save a little bit of fuel and ERS, and then push when it really matters.
Go-to guy heading into pit lane. He's gone onto the soft compound of tyres. He's going to come out in P8 of the race. Keep an eye on him. Kersey
he can make 11 laps on those. He can probably do it.
I think he will, but he might have a little bit of a flat spot or a couple at the end. Kersey cutting the corner further back, being awarded a time penalty. He's under pressure from Talon. Is Talon going to sneak a podium today? Still a lot to go in this race, though.
Oh, that would be very exciting towards the end, and again, that would really shake up all the championship standings.
Kersey's teammate, though, is looking to make an overtake into chicane. Is very far back, deciding not to. Seasoned driver, knowing not to overtake, DRS opened on Joe Breezy's car.
I think he's just trying to unnerve Joe Breezy. I think he's just coming into his mirrors and just showing himself and just trying to unnerve him a little bit, which is exactly what I would be doing right now if I was in this position. I
think Seafreeze was going for an overtake on that start-finish straight. Sorry, on the final back straight, but he just ran out of road in a way, you know?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. We still got 10 laps to go, and so far it's been one hell of a race.
Stream is currently focusing on Talon, the season driver, normally racing it for Toro Rosso, but made the switch this season to Alfa Romeo. So he's looking at his replacement in the Toro Rosso car. I mean, I'd want to get past him, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, but Seafreeze also has got a really good exit right now out of the hairpin, and this is the closest he's been for the last couple of laps on Joe Breezy. I think this might be the moment where he goes for it.
That's 2 moves. Joe cannot make another move because he knows the rules. But I think the run out the chicane, Seafreeze has been consistently quicker out of the run out the chicane, and Joe just has to try and hold him into the braking zone. But Seafreeze does take the lead of the race. But Joe Breezy going back at him. He's forcing him out wide. He's saying, right, that was a bit aggressive. I wonder if the McLaren team are going to think, right, okay, time to get past him once more.
Oh, that was very nice to watch from over here. And I mean, oh, that was very close racing. I think Joe Breezy, though, was just being a little bit too defensive in there and sticking his nose when, you know, you've already probably lost the corner. A little bit dangerous because it could have spun him out, but he managed to keep the car together, and he lives to fight another day.
Eyes front as Joe Breezy tries to line up a move, but Talon is lining it up even more. 2/10 of a second separating Kersey and Talon. Talon trying to get his claws into the Toro Rosso. The Bull trying to keep its horns away from the Alfa Romeo. I just remembered your PlayStation icon's the Alfa Romeo symbol, isn't it?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is it your PlayStation icon, the Alfa Romeo Signia?
Oh yeah, that's just because when I downloaded Gran Turismo Sport, they had a bunch of those icons included in the thing, so I decided to use Alfa Romeo. I do really like a lot of their cars, but if I had my choice of car out of anything, I would have a Lotus Exige S.
Ooh, Lotuses are good, but in England it stands for lots of trouble, usually serious.
Yes, I've heard that one before.
Yeah, well, I like my Hondas. Honda is actually my favourite car make, as I mentioned in my bio.
Yeesh, yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of Honda, but
the Civic's
hey,
so pretty.
to each his own.
Yeah, gotta love it. I quite like just the technology of marvel of a Civic. I've got lofty heights, but my realistic car I'd love would be a Civic. I like a Civic. As we keep our eyes though on Joe Breezy, he's got his eye on Seafreeze, and I think the Renault powered car is trying to get past the Honda powered car.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think Joe Breezy's playing it a little bit smarter here than Seafreeze was when he was trying to overtake. He's got quite a bit more of his battery charge still left on board, so I think he's saving it. And oh, there we go, a 3-second time penalty. So I guess the pressure came, but it didn't come from the back. It came from having somebody in front of him.
I don't think it's that pressure. I think the fact that Joe Breezy, he's not looked very stable coming through that chicane to start with. So I think his car is not designed for the chicane. I think it's designed for everywhere but that chicane.
Yeah, setups definitely come into play over here, but Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how F1 2020 is going to change the handling model because I think it's a little bit difficult to keep the car together here and really put in good pace. The drivers today are doing a great job so far. And yeah, I'm watching Joe Breezy again, and he's definitely saving up his ERS on that first DRS zone. Not really attacking at this point, but it's going to come.
Was that a slight hint to try and make me start talking about the beta again?
About the what?
The beta. I did tell you that I drove the beta, remember?
Oh, yes.
I solemnly swear I can't say anything. Damaso on the attacker C quit. He's popping up the inside at the first DRS zone. Very well done for the Mexican driver to make it into P8. He's now going to do some work with those fresh, soft tyres.
Yeah, we've got Sequid still trying to make his way back through the field. I guess those hard tires aren't really working out for him in terms of overall pace. He's only managed to get up to 9th place, and that's considering that some of the drivers in front of him have already pitted once again to change over to their final set of tires. So it doesn't seem like he's been able to undercut anybody on that one.
Joe Breezy now starting to pile on the pressure. He knows that he's got to start thinking about overtaking. Let's put the telemetry up on the McLaren so we can see his exact inputs on the car. It's so intriguing to see whether he's going to try and overtake this time round as we get a full onboard lap. Look at the way he's able to control the brakes as he starts to put pressure on C3s.
Yeah, very nice trail braking and very smooth on the throttle on the exit as well. Getting very quick runs, saving ERS still. He's not really using it up. He's got 76%, and he's just using just the right amount at the right time, just sticking behind C-Freeze, using the DRS and the slipstream to his advantage. We've got 5 more laps to go, so I think he's going to have to make his move probably towards lap 33, 34.
He's got to get it soon. Remember, he's got that time penalty to his name as well, so he wants to get through and break the time penalty barrier. Whether he can do it, is he going to check his inside now? He thinks about it. He's really unsettled C3, but C3 is Mr. Cool. He's gone, no. Oh, no! Is that it? Lost the rear end there. There's Joe Breezy.
Still got a few laps.
Is that... I don't know. We shall see what happens. Once again, battle number 2 as we normally jump to. Let's have a look at Talon in the Alfa Romeo as he tries to overtake Kersey. He's going to think, ooh, that McLaren looks closer. I'd think that too, wouldn't you?
He still might go for a podium position here if he's able to close in that gap. We've got 5 laps to go. Yeah, let's see if he's able to do that. But up at the front, Joe Breezy and Seabreeze, those two are going to be the two really fighting it out. I'm hoping we're going to see a photo finish today. You
want to know what really sucks? They've just lapped the championship contender, or they're getting to the point to lap the championship contender of Dougie Falcons. This is going to really say championship over.
I think, unfortunately, that might be, especially since the position he's in right now is not even going to give him any points at all. So I think it's going to come down.
I don't think he'll get away with being lapped. I think just him being there is going to help unsettle C3s. But remember, he's just come out on fresh softs. He really shouldn't be lapped.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's just not having a good time here today. And I've mentioned this before, this track doesn't really suit everybody's driving style. So, yeah, I guess maybe it's not his night. Oh, it's now Joe Breezy. He's trying to go for the inside.
Oh, no, he's really trying. He knows he has to break away now from the Toro Rosso. But I don't think the Red Bull-powered car can do it. As DRS opens, Joe Breezy's starting to put more pressure on him as he puts himself through the chicane, threading that needle as quickly as he can. Remember, no traction control on these cars, and they're really starting to struggle.
Yeah, and we're coming to the start of lap 32 of 35, so he's going to have to make that move as soon as possible if he still wants to contend for the win here. Otherwise, Seafreeze is going to take the championship lead.
That would be drama. I believe next week... Do you remember where we are next week? Are we at America next week?
Yeah, it would be USA and then only Mexico after that, so only 2 more races to go. After today, we're only going to have 50 points up for grabs, and I think go-to guy with his sixth. I'm not sure if that's going to give him enough points to still
Oh
contend
no!
for...
Crash!
Oh, fatal.
See if we can catch... Oh, I don't think further back. Is he? No, he's still driving.
He's in the pits.
Oh, he's in the
I think
pit
he
lane.
might be
Okay.
retiring in the pits. Yeah.
The only reason I reacted as a crash, I saw he was closing up the secret in P9, so I do apologise on that. DRS opened on Joe Breezy's car as he starts to close in, and he has to make the move soon. He goes to the inside line of the chicane. He is through into lead for now. C3's cutting back across him, and they ghost. They ghost. Oh dear. That's going to really anger someone. Joe Breezy now, he doesn't care. He would have had him through this time round. And now they go side by side into Turn 1, the championship up for grabs. And Joe Breezy can't get through. C3 is getting very physical with the car now.
There was a lot of contact there, a lot of wheel banging.
This could end nasty, and I don't think it will. But Joe Breezy thinking about popping it everywhere he goes. Remember, heading towards 3 laps to go. Who's on the better tyres? I can't tell. I think it's Joe.
Well, they're both running on the exact same strategy. They're both running on a medium tire that's 13 laps old. But it's really down to just management and how they're managing the rest of their car as well with fuel and ERS. That decides when you can really attack and we can push. Oh, Joe Breezy really pushing there, going on the grass and almost spinning out again.
Yeah, he's trying everything he can do. I don't think this race is going to go to him. Let's get some ERS look at, and there it is. The onboard shot. He's struggling this time round. He's driving better. C3's obviously with ERS himself. I wonder if C3's aware about the penalty.
He might not be, but I think, every driver just wants to win outright on track as well, regardless of penalties. And Seafreeze has been doing an amazing job driving around here today and playing the strategy to his advantage. I think, he's really got it here today, so I really hope he ends up holding it regardless.
Go-to guy dropping behind Mick in P7. We'll see that. We'll take a look at that further back as we see the pressure building between the leaders, 24 versus 22. And Breezy is going to try and breeze his way through, but whether Mr. Cool can allow it. Oh no, that's a big slide for the McLaren. And it doesn't seem like he has anything to do in that car today. Unfortunately, I think C3 is going to be leading into the final lap. But I tell you who might not be in the front in the final lap. Kersey might be in trouble, but I know Talon's got a fair more penalties.
Yeah, he does seem to be closing in on him, but that gap has been very small for very long, so it doesn't seem to be changing. They haven't switched positions yet, and we're now starting up lap 35, so not many more opportunities.
The final lap begins, and the final couple of chances for Joe Breezy to win this race on the track are coming. What can McLaren do versus Toro Rosso? I wonder if the engineers have been saying, just give it all you've got now, get past him. There's a slow car in front, that's the professional. And there C3's becoming unsettled into the DRS zone as he snaps of oversteer, sliding all over the place. Both these cars struggling. Now for the overtake comes Joe Breezy on the inside line. He's going for the lead of the race. He has got the lead of the race. Now into the hairpin. Who's better on the tyres? Oh, Blin, I can't watch.
This is turning out to be absolutely ridiculous towards the end here, but again, with Joe Breezy's penalty, this is not going to be enough. I think it's a little bit too little, too late, so yeah, but this was one hell of a battle to watch, and now Seafreeze is going to have a chance to retake his outright win on track, and he goes past him.
He had more ERS, he had more DRS, and unfortunately, it's not going to work today. Oh, Joe Breezy's going to lose second place. Seafreeze wins. Joe Breezy is going to finish second still, and Kersey is going to finish third on the road. And no, potential of outright penalty is going to be looked at later on. But Kersey P3, Talon P4, Zandamar P5, but who's in P6? Mick or Go-To guys, they come through. Professional retiree in Sector 1, DRS open as Mick comes through at full power. What could he do? It's going to be Mick P7, unfortunately with a time penalty, knocking it off.
Very impressive from Seafreeze there in the dying seconds to retake that position and take the outright win on the track without having to let it come down to the penalties after the race. But I also want to point out, very impressive from Kersey and Talon Guy, especially, also doing a very good job here today, battling with a lot of people. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Talon Guy to pass for a couple more points in the championship. But yeah, and I think now that also means our go-to guy is not going to have enough to continue competing for the championship with the top two as well.
Don't go away, folks. We have the post-race chats with the podium coming on, and I think it might be a spicy one. So, Seafreeze taking the first win in the final 3 races. He's on a run today, but I wonder how he'll be heading into Kota next week. Another piece of silverware heading back to Toro Rosso's home base. A couple of them though. Both Seafreeze and Kersey on the podium. Once again, Joe Breezy taking second place. Well done to him for taking second place.
And it was a very clean, very good race from everybody on the grid today. Just a couple of small incidents here and there, but we did get to see a lot of side-by-side racing and wheel banging, and it was very, very close for quite a few drivers.
So here are the results, barring any stewards' investigations. Seafreeze taking the win home from Joe Breezy in P2. Kersey making it into P3. Well done to him. Zandamar into P4 ahead of Talon, who on penalties got knocked down to P5. 15 seconds, wow. Go-to guy in P6 ahead of D'Amato in P7. Mick was in P8 and Iroll was in P9. Secret taking home the final point of the session in P10. Outside of the points, Dougie Falcons was classified 11th, and Professional crashing on the final lap, but classing as P12. Drivers who didn't finish the race: Fatal, Dundorf, Van Hoyst, and Kjolchin did not start the race.
Yeah, and only 2 finishers out of the whole grid that ended up finishing with no penalties. So, yeah, penalties definitely came into effect here today.
So, as now we wait for the podium drivers to join us, I believe you have control over that, don't you?
Yeah, so we're waiting for Seafreeze, Kersey, and Joe Breezy.
Yep. And I will head over to look at the nice Toro Rosso showroom that we have. That's the multiplayer car. There we go. Don't look at that. Mine's terrible.
Alright, I'm just getting everybody invited in right now, so give me a couple of minutes here and we should be good to go. But yeah, what were your impressions of the race overall today?
I thought it was good, clean racing, barring certain points, but everyone did very well to race very cleanly in this race.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised about that. I think especially after last night's race and today's race, it just seems like, you know, those 2 classes, gold and platinum, just sort of picked up their game better than silver.
Always good. Always good to see.
Alright, so I've invited all 3 of them, but I'm just waiting for them to join.
Now we just wait and see whether the drivers will be joining us tonight. It'd be nice to have a chat with them.
Absolutely, and I think especially this championship is really heating up and really coming to the last couple of races to decide it. And there we go, we've got Seafreeze and Kersey already in here.
So that's 2 out of the 3, and now we just wait for Joe to join us, and we'll do. I feel like going first to third this time. So we'll just wait for Joe to jump in. He should be joining us, unless he doesn't fancy one.
Let's hope so.
There we go. Shouldn't be long now. Ah, there he is.
Alright, we're good.
Alright, so we'll start with Seafreeze. Now, Freeze. Started on pole. First stint wasn't brilliant, but you come home with the win. How was that?
Firstly, no, just like last week, it was really tough race, but you know, good just overall, like, you know, good by the others as well. It was a clean race for the most part. Really, I enjoyed it. It was fun. But yeah, the first stint was alright. You know, I feel like my pace really starts to come alive towards the end as the Red Bull starts to kick in. So, I don't know. It was a good race. I mean, I fought for it. I'm exhausted. But yeah, I mean, no complaints. It was a good race, well executed. And I think, I don't know about if this is true or not, but I think I'm the, no, never mind. I was gonna say, not many people have won from pole, but I saw I did that at Germany. There may be some others too, but it's usually not, pole doesn't usually dictate everything, but and it didn't today. I had to lead a little bit, I lost it, but I think in traffic I was able to come up a lot of times. The lead car, like Breezy had, and you saw multiple times hopefully on stream, he had to pass the cars and then the other guys just let me by. So that's just how it is when I'm so close to somebody. You can't, you know, so it just, it worked for me, and yeah, just everything fell in my lap, so I took it.
Oh,
So
good job, man.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm going to probe now. At no point did you think that Joe Breezy was overdriving the car a little bit with his moves?
No, I actually thought that was all clean, fair, yeah. I didn't, I mean, it was aggressive, obviously. I was aggressive back towards him, but I don't think there was one instant we ghosted in each other, and that was a little awkward. I don't know.
Oh, did you? Did you buy him dinner afterwards, Joe?
Nope, it was definitely,
I don't know what that was. I mean, I don't remember even where it was on the track, but, yeah, no, I thought it was clean for the most part. I'm very respectful, and that's what I'm actually very much enjoying this. It's a good way to end the season. Hopefully everyone else from other classes and everyone else is watching, because this is a championship. No matter how it goes, it's a good one. Especially if you look at race to race, everything kind of falls in place, and I don't know, it's fun. So, but I feel like we have that respect towards each other, hopefully still. And this is what we're here to do, is race and best man win, you know. So I'm enjoying it.
Then, any
Great job,
questions?
Seafreeze. Yeah, I was gonna say, now you're gonna be within just 3 points of Joe Breezy. It's gonna come to very, very close margins towards the last couple of races. You know, how are you feeling? Feeling a little nervous going into USA or Mexico, or did this give you an additional boost in confidence?
Absolutely, and I'm not nervous at all. I'm prepared more than anything. I actually cherish this. I want to sweep the season, finish out with 2 more wins, and get the championship ultimately. But I've been in this situation before with a championship so close. Throw back to season 5 with, was it 5? Yeah, season 5 with Go2 and Sean. All 3 of us went to the finale at Bahrain within 6 points. The winner won the race, and I lost that. I got a drive-through penalty for something, and this time I want a little redemption in that, because I don't want a championship to just in my grasp, you know, and just let it go like that. But you know, it's good. You know, I like the competition, and I'm ready.
Congrats on the win again.
Thank you.
So, Joe, the 3-second time penalty sort of really ruined that, didn't it?
I mean, yeah, I knew he was gonna know that I had it. I had 2 warnings pretty early, to be honest, and it was rough. I'm sitting there trying to pull away when I can, and you know, I'm having to watch. I can't get another warning, so it was pretty rough. I know Freeze doesn't get penalties too often, so I wasn't expecting him to get one, and he didn't. So yeah, that definitely made things pretty rough. I had to just be aggressive at the end and hope to kind of push him in a situation where he was getting warnings, or you know, I had to go for it, but at the same time, I wanted it to be clean to an extent. I didn't want us to crash out or anything like that. So I made some aggressive moves, but I mean, I don't think anything was overly aggressive.
Nope, definitely not. It's aggressive but respectful. You know, so I like that. It's not like a former past Renault driver. But,
don't get me wrong, in a way I'm kind of glad the game did ghost us down that last straight, but I did have the inside and I was ahead, so I was like, I got this corner. I've got this. Like, I got into the lead. I didn't have too many, laps left. I don't know if I could have held it, but I had a full ERS gauge, and I was ready to pump in some laps after that, and hopefully, get in a situation where I can get Freeze pushing, potentially getting himself a penalty, But the game just ghosted us. Like, he didn't back down. I think we would have resulted in some kind of contact there, but I definitely had the corner, and I was just like, God damn it, game, ghosting's off. What is going on here?
Yeah, no, Fatal retired in pit lane. That caused a yellow flag. That caused you to ghost.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Look at that. Would you look? Thanks, Fatal. I'll send you a Christmas card.
I mean,
I don't think that
either
would have
way,
mattered. I don't know. Sometimes it does ghost like that. I don't know.
I've seen it ghost like that in the past, but ghosting was on. I think the last time I saw that happen.
Oh, today.
It was
Oh, yeah.
No.
That time. Yeah,
the last time I've seen like where incidents just ghosted. Like the game was like, you guys are about to die. Let me just ghost both of you. Like, no problem. So I was kind of frustrated. I was like, really, game? Like, I had the turn. Like, I had that. Like, I mean, we probably would have had some contact, but I think Freeze would have ended up cutting that corner. I don't know if that would have pushed him. Freeze, did you have any warnings? Or
I don't think I don't think I had a warning. I might have had one, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
I had one. You know what? On the last lap. I thought it was a penalty. I'm like, oh god, it was a good thing.
Gotcha,
but I think I just had the one or two.
Yeah. So I mean, I was being aggressive to a point, but there was definitely a few points in the race where I was just like, okay, all right, I got second, and that's just the way it's going to be today. I came into this kind of thinking I was going to get second. I was hoping I was going to get second. Canada is like one of my worst tracks on this game. I hate it. I can barely qualify here. And my DRS flat broke for 10 minutes of qualifying. 10 minutes of qualifying. I ended up having to do an outlap at 4 minutes, going back in the pit and coming back out just in time for us to do our last lap, and it still was broken. Like, I was just like, oh my god, this game. I was getting pretty aggravated
because Kersey had one too during the race, and I had one last week.
It's been horrible.
I mean, when does this ever happen?
Almost every race it's happening. It's just driving me nuts. At least it didn't happen open or anything crazy like that, which I've seen from like GoTo. He had his DRS flap get stuck open.
That was mine last week.
That would be horrible. Yeah, but anyways, ultimately, really good race with Seafreeze. Probably one of the first times that we've actually had a chance to like battle it out. Usually it's like, okay, Freeze has the pace, let me just try to save up some ERS and try to pass him, and then he just goes, and I can't even keep up with him really, so it's either one way or another, but this time we actually got to battle, and we both came out clean, no damage, no penalties really out of it, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'm feeling pretty confident coming into these last couple of races. It's definitely not nearly as bad as like Canada and Baku and places like that. So I think it'll be a really good finish to the end of the season. I can definitely take the fight to Seafreeze at those two tracks. And it'll be really interesting to see who comes out on top. Ultimately, we both have some really good races this season. It's been a really fun season to be in with Seafreeze. I think he's glad, and I am, that it's not just a runaway championship.
Well,
so.
I mean, I take those, I'll take them too, like that. But no, it's fun for sure, especially as you as well already a champion, and so it's kind of cool to have that aspect again. So cool. I don't know. Looking good.
Oh yeah, and the rivalry is really going on strong. I really hate Freeze. Oh man, I'm gonna take it to him the next two races. That nonsense.
Oh, there we go. That's what we like.
All right, Blinn, any questions for our second place finisher?
Well, I think he pretty much touched on what I was going to ask. I was going to see what was, his strategy for the last couple of races. But I guess what I will ask instead is what I've been asking a lot of drivers in Postcom. What are you most excited about in terms of F1 2020 coming? Is there a particular aspect?
Black underwear? Were you asking about underwear? No? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm actually really looking...
I got black.
Black underwear on.
They're gonna switch in a minute. I gotta take a shower.
Oh Christ, man! I definitely you need a shower for that race.
No, I'm actually really looking forward to the next game. Not having to manage 1 second, my daughter's screaming.
Got some kid action in the background.
It's like Ryan Hunter Ray, everybody. He's got his kids all over him.
Quarantine.
Anyways, I'm really looking forward to the new game. Not having to manage ERS the same way is something I look forward to. That's a lot of fun to just be able to focus on racing. Not to mention, I am super excited I was finally able to talk this league into no racing line for Platinum. I've been kind of pushing that into the league the last couple seasons, like, hey guys, come on, like, you really should be turning this guy off, you know, come on. I even gave up my whole last season to really just turn it off and just try to enjoy the season, hope to try to get more people into it, and I managed to get quite a few drivers to start the season at least with it off. But, you know, it is what it is. Everybody kind of turned it back on, so I turned it back on for this last season. But I'm really excited. We'll have no assists. I'm probably going to do cockpit cam again, which I really enjoyed. And, yeah.
Cool.
One more
Congratulations on another podium.
One more question for Joe Breezy, though, before we move out to Kersey.
Man, the fan favorite over here. Look at him.
Oh, no, I just thought this because it's funny. Joe, at what point will you get your daughter on this game?
Sorry, I had to talk to my daughter. Can you repeat?
I was going to say, well, you can get her to answer the question. At what point is she going to get into this game and get into league racing?
I actually do let her jump on every once in a while, jump in my lap and do some laps around on F1.
You know what I would say?
What?
I think she would be a pretty good portion of the drivers here.
It'll be a while. She's pretty young. She can't reach the pedals, so.
Oh, you can do the pedals for her. Come on, double team it.
Well, Xander found a pedal set. He's quite short. I'm sure you could find something.
Ooh, shots fired.
Alright, do you want to go and have a stab at him being vegan as well? Where is it? Alright, moving on to Kersey. Now, third place once
you
more.
remembered I'm here.
Yeah, no, I didn't forget about you.
Breezy, shut up. Who's kidding?
Third place,
Alright, man, jeez.
third place 2 weeks in a row. This race a little bit more controversially. We saw that incident with Secret heading onto the straight. Do you think, looking back on that, you shouldn't have done the weaving there, or do you think
I was
you're fine with
weaving
it?
because I was confused as to what in God's name he was doing.
Okay, take us through it.
There was no. I mean, I don't know what I would have gained from weaving. Was he going to pass me when I had DRS? I don't. That weave is more of like, I'm not too sure what the hell that was. On a couple of drivers in traffic, by the way, who I watched let my teammate go. But as expected, I wasn't let go. Almost surprised on that one. Almost.
I feel your pain, dude. I feel your pain.
But you look at that. We're still standing on the third step, though. So.
But do you feel that because what we saw with the incident between you and Secret was Secret was very aggressive into the hairpin, as he was able to do because he had the racing line, and then your response further on seemed to be a bit of a weave, and you could be considered as you were breaking the toe, or a little bit, a little bit rude nonetheless. But do you think you would have done it in any other situation, or?
No. Like I said, I don't. What toe was I breaking? I had DRS going down that straight.
Yeah, but you still have to fathom the rules. And Joe fathomed the rules.
You're allowed to swerve. My bad.
Yeah,
what
twice.
the hell was that?
Twice.
Well, as long as the driver's not trying to go for an overtake and you have a pretty good gap. I don't know what the gap was there, but I mean, I did it honestly, to Talon. I did it to Talon because I'm signaling I'm pitting, and I think he got that quite clear.
Which is exactly what it was. It was a signal. It was a message. There was no breaking the toe unless you want to take it super technical, which at that point you're just trying to create something that's not there, to be completely honest with you. Because it's not like he had any chance of actually overtaking in any way, shape, or form or anything like that.
Alright, if you want to take it that way, that's fine. Take us through the rest of your race then.
I had a broken DRS for at least like 7 or 8 laps, so that kind of screwed the chance to fight for the win. I had to use pretty much all my ERS to even keep up, like I said, without DRS and that kind of stuff, so that kind of let Freeze catch back up to Breezy without me, and then them two were kind of fighting a little bit and allowed me to somewhat get back into it a little bit. I kind of blew the 1-2 with a mistake of my own getting a penalty because I saw Breezy get a penalty, but I was definitely kept on my feet. Talon had he was very quick on the third stint. So I don't, unless something happened, I don't think he would have finished in front of me. He had quite a few penalties, but nonetheless, I wanted to try to finish in front of him on track, and he definitely kept me honest the whole race. He was right behind me pretty much the whole last stint. So.
Congrats on the third place, man. Very good drive overall. What are you thinking about next season? Are you staying here in Platinum and competing for the championship again?
Yeah, we'll be back here next season. Definitely looking forward to the no assist. I've been pushing that as well in like the very short time that I've been here. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'll be back here for sure.
So that about wraps up our podium chat. Thanks for all three of you drivers for joining us. Blin, that race was intense from start to finish. Can you think of any highlights for it?
Well, I mean, definitely the battle towards the end with Seafreeze and Joe Breezy. It was, you never really knew which way it's going to go, and I was thinking that Joe Breezy might crack under the pressure of Seafreeze behind them, but it actually turned out to be completely the opposite. As soon as Seafreeze got in front, Joe Breezy got that 3-second penalty, and that pretty much changed all of the whole game pretty much from there on. But other than that, I think a good point to touch on again is just it was a very clean race overall. Everybody did a really good job of just running their own strategies, and it was a really fun one to watch.
Well, that's this week for TCR done. Next week, we're heading off to Kota, and Blin, you're racing on Tuesday, so what are you hoping for?
Oh man, I have really dropped the ball recently on the last couple of races, so I just need to go for the win. There's nothing else that I can do. I just need a couple of really good results in the last couple of races, and I'm very close to winning that championship, but I was much closer a few races ago, so I need to rebound back.
Blin, you should take a trip down to Tororo's garage, as you are a former, or still a Tororosa guy, and we'll help you out in this championship
Okay.
for you. Yeah.
Alright, throw me a setup or something.
We'll give you a strategy.
So
There we go.
obviously,
Which was not any better than yours, by the way.
Obviously, then Blin will be joining on commentary on Wednesday night. You looking forward to commentary around Kota?
It should be an interesting one. I'm not really sure how the racing is going to look around there. It's sort of a hit and miss sometimes in real life. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm very excited, and thanks again for having me here tonight.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will be returning on Thursday for the Platinum class, provided I'm still allowed to, and we will be enjoying that race. Provided I don't know who I'm with. I might be with Dre, I might be with someone else. Who knows? You might be coming back with me.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We definitely will. Nonetheless, though, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy this weekend of, oh dear, no racing, but stay safe nonetheless. My name is JB. Thank you, Blin, for joining us as always.
Thanks again.
And we'll see you next time for the TCR Platinum class. Ta-ra, guys!